And so what's left is to get on with it now. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Should point out, Marvelous Marvin Hagler is his given name now. He had his name legally changed. So Marvelous is very much a part of it. Bob Arum has said, in regard to the fact that he sold out this house in 24 hours, that Marvin Hagler has finally arrived as an American hero. And Marvin, in response to that, he said, now they're putting Sugar Ray Leonard's crown on my head. He said, I've already got enough headaches. I think one of the big questions, Larry Merchant, that we're going to have to ask here is, how is Tony Sibson going to fight this fight? He's fought his best fights when he's come right at the man, and I don't think there's any question but that he cannot do that with Marvin Hagler.
Well, it can be done if it's done resourcefully enough. There's one theory that the best way to fight a fighter who comes at you is to go at him and back him up. Marvin Hagler has never had to back up much. He's never fought a guy who appears to be stronger than him as we look at them. So that may be a good strategy if he can stay on top of Hagler.
One thing that really did scare me a little bit in reading some of the write-ups of Tony Sibson's history, he said he really admired Mustafa Hamsho because he did come at Marvin Hagler. He said that showed a lot of character. Character, unfortunately, doesn't win prize fights as a rule. Hamsho had 60 stitches. And Marvin Hagler has now come into the ring here to the delight of the 14,000 people in the Centrum in Worcester. How well has Marvin Hagler been doing as a champion? Well, he's been doing pretty well by and large, but he has now won 30 straight since losing a pair of fights to Boogaloo Watts and Willie the Worm Monroe. 55, 2-2, 46 of those coming by knockouts, and he himself says, since I've been champion, Ray, I'm getting meaner.
Well, he's worked so hard to get in the position to be the undisputed middleweight champion. And Hagler's a very proud champion, Barry. And the fact is, it's going to be very, very difficult for Sibson to really take that from him.
I think the general
Tony
consensus...
Sibson, as you look at, 47-3-1. He's had 27 knockouts. He's been knocked out only once. That when he really fought a light heavyweight, Lottie Mawale, he was told, go out there, set him up, get him right now. He went after him and got nailed in the first round. Here's the tail of the tape. And Larry Merchant, a couple of interesting numbers jumping out here.
Yes, one is Hagler's age. He is now officially 28. He says that he got into professional boxing at an early age and he had to use false documents so that he's 28. But and more important is the reach. He's got a big, big reach advantage, which is unusual for him, 6.5 inches. And the chest. Just look at the size of Sibson's chest compared to Hagler. Sibson is a big, strong fellow.
He really is built very much like a weightlifter. Here are the common opponents of these two. There is not a lot to tell here, with the possible exception of Kevin Finnegan, who Marvin Hagler knocked out on 2 occasions, and Tony Sibson was a loser to in 15 rounds, and they did fight them roughly at the same time. Each man, however, has come a long way in his career since then, despite the fact that Marvin Hagler did knock out Finnegan on 2 occasions. Right now, let's go up to the ring announcer, Nuno Cam, for the introductions of the two fighters.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The feature attraction of the evening for the middleweight championship of the world, 15 rounds, here at the new and beautiful Centrum in Worcester, Massachusetts, promoted by Top Rank, Bob Arum, and Rick Valenti, Boston. Also in celebration of the 20th anniversary of the WBC. Tonight's boxing is under the supervision of the Massachusetts State Boxing Commission. Chairman Tommy Rawson, Jimmy McCarran, and Joe Tecci. Judges for the championship bout, Tony Perez, New York, and San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Marcella Bettini of Italy, and referee Carlos Padilla from Las Vegas and the Philippines. Timekeeper George DiFilippo, counting for the knockdowns, Jerry Albano. Attending physicians at the ringside, Dr. William Dorfman and Dr. A.P. Blumenthal.
So there you have the incidentals. if confidence wins fights, Tony Sibson should be a deadlock cinch. He's the most confident fighter and as loose, Ray, as any challenger I've ever seen. I saw him in the hotel lobby at 3 o'clock today. He was chatting with people, just very loose.
Well, that attitude, it helps you, but you need some artillery too.
Instructions now from Carlos Padilla.
Okay, you're going to box for 15 rounds. You know the rules of boxing. Avoid using any kinds of foul. Don't throw any punches during the break. Okay, seconds come out fighting. Seconds come out fighting.
Marvin Hagler, of course, does not shake hands before a fight. It is not any kind of a hostility. It is just merely the way he does business. There are some similarities between these two, incidentally, oddly enough. They're both from medium-sized towns.
Okay, everybody now.
Hagler from Brockton by way of Newark. Sibson from Leicester, England. Both were hog carriers in the early days. Both turned pro at the earliest age that they possibly could. They both raise animals. Hagler raises pigeons. Sibson raises dogs. They both beat Alan Minter handily. Both were southpaws, and of course Hagler still is, although he can go both ways. First round. Quick jab by Hagler.
You will see a great deal of boxing skill from Marvin, up until he's able to hurt Sibson, and then he'll get very mean and start taking advantage of it.
Hagler very sharp early on here. Marvin Hagler not one to waste a lot of punches. Hagler very much up-tempo early in the round.
What's going to be a factor in this fight, Barry, is the fact that Marvin Hagler has a very good right jab, very powerful. It sets his man up so well.
Two good shots from Hagler snapped the head of Tony Sibson back there. Sibson, tough customer. Sibson beat Dwight Davidson by getting inside and keeping his head on Davidson's chest. However, Davidson is 6'1". Marvin Hagler considerably shorter. It'll be much more difficult for Tony Sibson to fight the fight against Marvin Hagler that he fought against Dwight Davidson, the #1 contender at the time.
You notice that combination thrown by Marvin Hagler. Double right jab and come with the left, straight left hand. Those are the type of combinations that's going to do a great deal of damage to Tony Sibson. The mistake that Sibson is making is, in fact, he's actually following Hagler. He needs to cut the ring off. Give a little more head feints, body feints. You can't walk straight into Hagler. If so, he'll nail you every time with those straight left hands.
Marvin Hagler scores with an inordinate number of punches. He just does not waste a lot of punches. And the left hand by Sibson is first of the night.
Sibson's waiting for an opportunity to get inside because he's more effective inside, throwing those big shots to the body, to the head. And Hagler's not going to cooperate with him. Going to keep him on the outside of that right jab.
That's a good right hand lead by Marvin Hagler. Hagler will go from southpaw to righty. He's not done yet tonight, but he will do it at some point. Sibson has fought 15 southpaws, so this is nothing new to him.
You see there, Sibson went to the body. Inside, once again, he's very, very strong.
Tony Sibson content to fight at long range in the first round, and that is a different tactic for him.
Another good thing, if Sibson can maintain this pace, this is a very fast pace for any fighter. And if he can maintain this and score some punches, you might see a change.
Well, Mickey Duff, the British promoter, has said in no uncertain terms that Tony Sibson is the best one-punch middleweight that he's ever seen.
All right, let's listen to Marvin Hagler's corner. What Hagler established in that round was that Sibson is going to have to pay a price to get close to him.
Right distance is good.
The question is whether that price will be too heavy as the fight goes on.
Take it to school, man. Left hand to you. Right in the money. You're speaking just enough distance, too. You're moving just right. Right? That's good. Doing a good job, buddy.
Let's take a look at the combination punching of Hagler. The right lands, the left is a little bit high, but he comes right back with another right. He's making Sibson respect him at this point in the fight. Sibson came out all right. Let's see how he does in this round.
Very much of an up-tempo first round, and we'll see if that pace continues here in round 2. Hagler was sharp, and Sibson took it all. Sibson not likely to cut. He's only been cut once, and that was just a minor cut over the bridge of his nose. Never been cut around the eyes.
For Hagler, again, that jab is going to be a factor in this fight. Keeping Sibson outside in the center of the ring. Against the ropes, then you're giving Sibson a chance.
Sibson trying to get inside a little bit more early in the second round. Hagler still very sharp.
You notice what Hagler's doing. He's going to the body, he fakes and comes back to the head. In other words, he's changing his punches up. Confuses the fight. He's not doing the same thing over.
There was an uppercut lead. That hurt Sibson. And it wasn't only the uppercut. Hagler came back with 2 punches behind it. Always throws punches in combinations when he thinks his man might be hurt. Sibson with a good uppercut.
You see Sibson now is giving more body feints.
Hagler lunging just a little bit off balance that time.
Sibson, I noticed he has very good movement, very good balance. In fact, when Hagler comes in, he backs away. But one thing, keep in mind, Sibson maintains his balance and comes back. Another punch you might see Hagler throw is that upward right jab. It comes from the waist.
That punch caught the shoulder of Sibson going away. The crowd will give you an indication, because it is so supportive of Marvin Hagler, that perhaps some punches are a little bit more than they really are.
With a fighter like Sibson, you have to be able to box and punch, because it's very difficult to just walk in there and start punching, exchanging blows.
Well, the British press kept saying during the course of this week that you will see a different Tony Sibson. He won't fight the type of fight that he did against Dwight Davison and against some of the others who he felt he could come at.
Let's go into Sibson's corner now.
Come on, give me the water.
You're in distance now. You've got to back him up. You understand?
This side, Tony.
A bit of Vaseline, Do you want me fucking fight?
Let's take a look at Hagler here as he lands a good right hand. Straight left followed by the right hand. Putting his punches together, following up on what he does. That's the sign of a good fighter. We're really seeing the versatility of Marvin Hagler here. His ability to box is vastly underrated. One thing that Sibson is doing too much is assuming that British attitude of having his head too straight and too high on too many occasions.
There is a little bit of puffiness on the face of Tony Sibson. It's nothing in the least bit serious at this juncture, the third round. Hagler more and more looks the part of the consummate professional.
It's very difficult to fight a southpaw because of an unorthodox style. The key to it is keeping your left foot outside of his right foot. And Sibson's doing a pretty good job of that. While he's inside, he gets off balance, and the southpaw is able to connect.
Sibson's corner, you might have heard, exhorting him to back him up, back him up. Also notice that Tony Sibson has a tendency in his corner to listen to Mickey Duff, who's an advisor, perhaps even more than the man in the ring.
Sibson's really rough inside, bro. He gets inside and he tries to outmuscle his opponent. But you know, it's Hagler. He doesn't want to exchange. He'll tie his man up, back away, and start boxing again.
Saw a little bit of a butt there, but there was no damage caused by that butt. Carlos Padilla saying, watch your heads.
That's that right jab I was talking about, bro. It comes up. It's very effective. He tried again, but Sibson was ready for it.
Still a very quick tempo to this fight.
Hold it, hold it, hold it. Bring it up. Okay, hold it, bring it up.
Sibson chasing. And getting inside, scoring with a good left hand. It came behind an uppercut.
Hagler's fighting a perfect fight. I mean, he's outboxing Sibson. And Sibson, again, he's fighting a perfect fight also. He's doing the correct thing. Getting inside, working. And trying to slow Hagler down. Slow down that movement.
With 3 punches that all scored right on the face of Tony Sibson.
Okay, bring it up, bring it up, bring it up. No.
Turn away from him, man.
This the 4th round. You heard Marvin Hagler's corner say essentially, in fact specifically, just do what you're doing. You got him confused. You agree with that?
Well, I think he's keeping Sibson off balance in a sense, but not really confused. The movement that Hagler has, and also by being a southpaw, it creates a few problems for Sibson.
Good right hand, another left hand by Hagler, but Sibson keeps coming. Wild left hand by Tony Sibson.
Well, Sibson proved he can take a punch. I mean, Hagler's been landing some big bombs on his chin. I think what Hagler should try to do now is see how the body is. Go downstairs a couple times.
A little bit of blood from the nose of Tony Sibson.
Hold it, bring it up, bring it up.
Hagler always seems to fight a thinking man's fight. This is no exception. Short right hand.
Well, you notice now, Hagler's fighting orthodox. He's fighting the correct way. Now he's back to southpaw.
The cut of Tony Sibson seems to be alongside the nose, not from the nose. Alongside the left side of his nose. Hagler works on it, too. There's that jab you were talking about.
That right jab of Hagler is very, very powerful. And once again, Hagler's back to orthodox. And all of a sudden, he'll change back to southpaw. Now that's confusing, especially if you're good at it. Hagler is good at it.
Hagler, good short right hand. Right here, you have the feeling that Marvin Hagler feels he has this fight won.
Well, not really. If I'm in a fight like this, and rough guy, I'm hitting with the best shots, I'm very confident I will win, but you got to stay on your toes. This is a thinker's man game.
Bring it up, bring it up.
Still blood from the nose of Tony Sibson.
That was a good body shot. by Tony Sibson. He went to the head with the left hook and came back with a good left hook to the body.
That's the end of the 4th round. Another confidence builder for Marvin Hagler, not so much that he needs it.